I was 18. Aside from wanting to get rich rápido, I knew nothing about money. We weren't taught in school how to invest or how to save for retirement. No one in my circle was talking about index funds or retirement accounts either. The conversation around money in our household was you work hard and you save money and somehow that'll get you through retirement. I got my first real job making $75 an hour, and every dollar I made, I spent. And not on anything crazy, right? Just life, food, gas, hanging out with friends, things that at the end of the month would add up to nothing. I wasn't being irresponsible on purpose. I just had no framework. I had no idea what I was doing. I did try to invest early, and that's actually where the mistakes started. And I lost money. Not a lot, maybe $200, $300, but enough for it to sting and enough to make me step back and want to learn more about the process of investing. And something changed. I started reading, watching videos, asking questions, and the first thing that actually clicked for me wasn't what stock am I going to buy. It was understanding how money can work for me. Because here's what nobody talks about when they teach you to invest. You can't invest what you don't have. And at $7.75 an hour, the math was brutal. So I made a decision. I was going to treat my earnings potential the same way I was going to treat my portfolio, like something that I could develop. So I started being more intentional about the responsibilities I was taking on at work. I started being more intentional about the kinds of questions I was doing, and that helped me a lot. And as I grew, instead of lifestyle creeping in with every raise, I started taking that money, putting the difference into the stock market consistently, even when the amounts felt very small. By 2019, I had about $7,000 invested. That's when I opened my Fidelity account and started doing this more seriously. $7,000 doesn't sound like a lot of money. And honestly, at that time, it really did feel like a lot of money. Maybe today for many, it's not that much. But that's when I started to understand compounding, not just as a concept, but as something I could actually see happening in my account. I kept it simple. I wasn't trying to beat the market. Every once in a while, I believe that I could, but I wasn't day trading. I picked investments I understood, and I kept buying every month, regardless of what the market was doing. There were months where I was watching my balance drop and everything in me wanted to pull out, especially during COVID in 2020. I watched positions go to the red really fast. I didn't sell though. And that decision, staying in when it felt wrong, is probably one of the most valuable financial lessons I've learned till this day. The other thing I want to be honest about, this wasn't linear for me. There were months I couldn't contribute that much. Periods where life expenses ate into what I had planned or planned to invest. And that's real, that's life. That's going to happen to you too. But the habit stayed. When the amount changed, the behavior didn't. So here's where things stand today. This account currently stands at $20,000 in total portfolio. Now, I want to put that in perspective because I'm not here to flex. $20,000 is not retirement money. It's not financial freedom, at least not yet. But it represents something more important than the number. It represents what happens when someone who started with no knowledge, no advantages, $775 an hour, just stayed consistent long enough for the math to work. That's it. That's the whole secret. So, if you're early in this, if you're making what feels like an embarrassing amount right now, I need you to hear this. The amount you start with matters less than you think. What matters is that you start, that you build a habit before you have the money to make it feel impressive. Because by the time money gets real, it will, and the behavior will already be automatically. I'm still building this. This portfolio isn't the final destination, but I wanted to show you the road and be honest about my perspective and my journey. If you want to learn more about my approach, please subscribe and like this video.